That's the kind of tune you really don't want to get stuck in your head. Oh well, better go take care of it. This one opened with a big announcement. Saving it until the end. Well, thankfully, the girls were gonna play themselves for this show under their superheroine personas to protect their secret identities, which just makes me wonder if they're gonna pay them in cash because you can't really do a paycheck with an alias. Well, anyway, they made their way to the Inside Reference studio where, along with sending frivolous strikes against any tubers, they were also recording some game shows. If it's a One Piece quiz show with Minoru Suzuki, then I suggest just quitting now. No one can beat that old wrestler and his knowledge of that old manga. Mojochy snuck in on it, believing that it would help him move one step closer to world domination because this was a show all about geography, which I'd say that's a bit of a stretch, but this is the same monkey who thought eating candy in the first episode would make him strong enough to conquer. Oh, I know the answer, It was Gilgamesh. He's the one who beat him in the Fourth Holy Grail War in one of the best sequences in the entire Fate franchise, and Unfortunately, that and Mosho's answer were wrong, and ironically, the right answer was the girls. As a result, Mosho was eliminated, and I'd imagine this show is gonna get a lawsuit soon, as they dropped him so hard, he got a concussion and a case of amnesia. I mean, sure, he's a villain, but what's gonna happen with the rest of the contestants? Anyway, Mosho wandered the studio, and ended up in the costume of Barney's cousin that they don't like to talk about. And as it just so happened, his show was about to air. This is all going to end with Robin Williams holding Edward Norton up at gunpoint, isn't it?
What the f*** am I watching here? You little soap opera, you get it yelling, I get it yelling, shut up!
Really underrated comedy, by the way. Go watch if you want to see Williams swear up a storm. It went about as well as you'd expect from any live kids show, with one brat constantly torturing the poor mascot. I mean, to be fair, this is the sort of fallout we should have expected after Kids Nation. Granted, I wouldn't mind if Locke here got the 5 nights treatment. And as a result of his torture, he ended up triggering Mojo's proper memories. The greatest injustice of all is that this character isn't going to get cancelled, and yet Rosita gets thrown under the bus. However, before he was nerfed, Locke was able to dispatch Mojo on his own, with only Miyako needing to come in for the finishing blow. No, yeah, the girls were also kind of doing things in the background, as they learned what sort of production they were a part of. The day of the drama's airing came, which turned out to be a Shirogane group production, so yeah, you can guess where this is going. Also, what is that thing attached to, or is this just some sort of cheap green screen effect? Anyway, this drama did do something kind of creative and unique by being a modern retelling of a classic story that's been told many times now. Oh. Same cover, same. But yeah, they were doing Momotaro, albeit a very loose adaptation with genders being swapped around with no rhyme or reason, but again, that's just kind of standard these days. And yet this is only slightly less insane than Dome Brothers. And just like many mouse productions these days, when they quickly ran out of actually unique ideas, they just reverted back to their old tropes, with Hime Taro wanting to get right into the rags to riches storyline. So Hime Taro set off on her epic journey to find her real parents. Along the way, she opened what should have been the Kimidango from the original Momotaro tale, but was instead. God, and I thought this season's Precure product placements were bad. Still, it ended up having the same effect, at least according to the script, with the girls coming in to join her quest. So, going by colors and replacing black with green, that would mean that Momoko is the possessive yandere, Miyako is the egotistical poet, and Kaoru is, into kinky stuff. As I said, Dawn Brothers is kind of insane, and I love it. Granted, Himiko might have a one-up on Taro in the hammy laugh department. But yeah, a lot of the comedy of this one was coming from how slapdash this whole production felt, with the girls clearly not being into it, and them clearly not even doing second takes. Does anyone respect the fourth wall anymore? Anyway, the plot of course got a little derailed with switching from the long lost parent story to rescuing the prince story, which even the girls lampshaded. Understandably, after all this cringe, the girls tried to change the channel, but... My god, the Shirogane really were working with this mouse the whole time to take over all of entertainment! Please disregard any previous discretions against the Walt Disney Company and its affiliates. We recognize it as a wholesome family company that seeks to only create the finest in entertainment. Jeez. Anyway, I guess as a part of their sponsorship deal, the Amoeba Boys also appeared in the movie, acting as the genies of the lamp, which again reminds me how much I miss Williams. But yeah, after some obvious bits of nepotism that are starting to get legit tiring, Himitaro and the girls made their way to the Forest of Thorns. They began clearing a path, but then Fuzzy just kind of showed up out of nowhere as a silent antagonist. My god, every time I want to hate the story, they throw in another reference that makes me love it again. But of course, this is all according to Keikaku, as Himitaro managed to reach the castle. Thus she went inside, and for some reason they lost their lair boxing for a second. I don't know, probably just an animation error. Though she then found an even bigger error that went against the script.
What?
Thus I guess they just ad-libbed this next part. Well, this is already a better representation of Vader than the inconsistent idiot who appeared in Obi-Wan. Oh, come on, let's let me have this one. And with that, I guess they lived happily ever after, and oh my god, they're doing the Disney jokes for me at this point. And the episode proper ended with Himiko, of course, enjoying her birthday present, at least a lot more than the girls. This episode also introduced the fourth and final ending theme of this series, and sadly, it's my least favorite, though honestly, it's not even that bad. For one thing, I think the song Himawari, or Sunflowers by Hearts Grow, is really damn good. It has a very calming, yet catchy beat to it that perfectly represents the feelings Miyako holds towards Takaaki. Also yeah, this is Miyako's song, and of course the theme of sunflowers matches her very well as they represent radiance and joy. Thus, of course, seeing visuals of the titular flower throughout the ending made sense and provided some very nice and calming backdrop, where even all of the girls' rogues gallery could come together and just chill. It's a perfectly fine ending on its own, but with more context, it kind of falls apart for me. First of all, yeah, Takagi and Miyako's relationship hasn't been a major focal point of the series. In fact, in spite of having one of the best episodes, Wolf Boy kind of disappeared after his initial appearance, and I think will only appear once more to resolve his story. And second, this really shouldn't have been the final ending theme of the series. I mean, I got nothing against Miyako, but thematically, I think it would have made more sense to end the series with either the first or second ending themes. The former, of course, was meant to represent all of the girls together, and the latter represented the default main lead of the show, Momoko. Both have better senses of finality, especially the second ending theme and its montage of Momoko reflecting on all of her experiences with her team. Meanwhile, this feels like an ending that would play more in the middle of the series, which if it did, I would at least say it's my third favorite, with the first ending theme taking the rear. As is, this just feels kind of out of place, which again is no fault of its own. That aside, this was a fun episode for me, especially if you're into parodies of the entertainment industry like me. I mean, yeah, it's nothing too knee-slappingly hilarious, and The Legend of Princess Himiko will likely grind on some viewers' gears, but I think they were still able to pull out some good satirical commentary on the entertainment industry and its nepotism. If anything, you could again say they predicted the future, because I think I would watch the entirety of Himiko's show than anything out of Hollywood in general these days. Would you just get off my case already? If there's one thing Toei tends to do well, and a lot of it, it's these sorts of film production episodes, as one, they tend to be easier to film for their tokusatsu, but are also often something they're very knowledgeable about. Therefore, they can translate almost seamlessly to animation, both in terms of their backgrounds and commentary. For the first half, it was a straightforward kids show's parody by throwing in a particularly awful kid to torture poor Mojo. I personally liked it because it did remind me of an underappreciated Robin Williams classic, but it was also nothing other shows haven't tackled before either. Thus, I kind of enjoyed the story it directly flowed into, featuring Himiko a little more. Yes, her getting everything she wanted in the end, including humiliating the girls, was a little aggravating, but I personally found it pretty hilarious, if only for the references, and some of the likely unintentional commentary. I mean, obviously, this was meant to be a parody of the entertainment industry and how it could sometimes be nepotistic and lacking in new original ideas, but I don't think even this show's creators predicted it would become this bad. Now, sadly, we are living in a world where entertainment is more designed to appease an audience of one, and to self-aggrandize the stars whilst banking on the IP of superheroes to draw attention. Though, thankfully, karma has hit some of these companies and stars hard, but I digress a little. As even without that sadly timeless factor, I still enjoyed the segment for the parodies and the girls' reactions to Himiko's ego. And overall, while I can't confidently say this was the funniest episode, it might be your brand of humor, especially if you like movie parodies and references like me. And hey, at least this wasn't the worst usage of the girls' names in more modern times. As always, I hope everyone is having a nice week, and if you're not, well, at least you made it to the middle. We'll keep making reviews to keep you entertained, as well as keep the ad revenues of this channel at least somewhat consistent. And until next time though, farewell for now my friends, and if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go buy a bulletproof vest.